Zhang is holding a celebratory party. Ziyang was introduced by Trong to everyone. Ask him to help you. He pointed to Zhang and said, only he can help you out. She turned to Zhang and asked him for help. He promised to help you as much as possible. You're too excited. I drank a glass of wine to thank him. Everybody around applauded. But I can't believe the glass of wine just swallowed her throat. She quickly left and lay at the table. I see that everything is wrong. She snatched the jewel from the necklace. That swallows right into the stomach. Zhang said he was happy. He will have a son tonight. He tied her to a table. Zhang came to collect the prize money and played the music. Zhang told her to rape her. She struggled. Her hand slipped off the rope. She took a picture of a tree right there and stabbed him in the thigh. He uses a rope to squeeze her neck and hit her so hard that she died on the spot. Two families are a coffin carrier. He always helps the dead to rest. As always, he and his daughter went to the burning village, searching for the body of the dead. Help them bury. Your daughter discovered that the body had been mutilated. They did a cover-up of the body. At this time, Zhang led Theo the servant beetle to find him, to ask him to carry the coffin to the village of 10,000 to pay you handsomely. But you don't care about him. He told his family that someone had died. If you hear that, come and see. On the street, people talk about the death of Ziyang. Inside, a black burning pig carried out. The ground is full of dead rats. On the door, plastered with spales. On the tree's branches still hung the red rope of the Jubilee. Inside, Zhang Bao and his 3 wives, kneeling before the family's spiritual path, pray. Here you come. He wept and took him to the funeral home. Everything is ready for the funeral. He plucked up the courage to open the door. The coffin is still engraved around the neck. It's amazing to everyone. 2 families look around, then take respite and ask Zhang how the girl died. Right now, Zhang paid the people who carried the coffin. He said you were sick. Surprise the officer, falling to the ground scares everyone. You alone remain calm. Suddenly there was a thunder. It made the Zhang brothers panic. They asked them how the girl died. He's talking now. He wants to get married to find a son. But she didn't come to the door. She was dead. I want to give her a name. So he married with a coffin. That's why he dreamed many times about dying. I didn't believe what he said. The 2 men left. Your brother ran. Ask if you have any money. He said this money earned him no life to spend. People are begging you to do it with them. Huid came to ask him. If they're gone, the coffin has to be Sao. He thought for a long time. Then look at the coffin, lying on her side on the ground. The moon's glow behind the clouds. The men carried the coffin to the top of the mountain. Suddenly they stopped. He told people to hurry up, and they didn't move. He looked back, and it turned out that they had become paper people. The coffin opened. He looked up at the long hair that covered his face. A scary face. He shouted, turns out it was just a dream. People wonder what the 2 families dreamed of. He said it was a gate. Early in the morning, everyone went to Zhongjia to prepare everything to bring Tongqiu to the dead. After the 2 families finished reading the proverbs, he turned to ask, does the Huid really want to go, Theo? He handed her a bag. Tie it to your waist and follow him. Everyone prepare all the luggage to put on top of the coffin before taking it to the burial site. When everything is ready, they take the coffin on their way. As they take the coffin out of the village gate, the sky has poured a heavy rain. There is a saying that goes to Tong when it rains, your children will prosper. Tong carried the coffin through the forest. They walk in the pouring rain. As they walked, they shouted words of encouragement to each other. Let the dead rest in peace. Suddenly, there is a mountain in front. If the rocks fall, they crossed the road. For fear of being late, so Tang's crew had to climb the cliff. They tied the rope to the trees and pulled the coffin up. We're all united and trying our best. The coffin is still carried on the shoulders. Suddenly he said he saw a ghost. The girl who touched the coffin carrier. The coffin fell down the slope to force a man below to die. People are panicking and running. He threatened everyone with a gun. Back to take the coffin to the burial site. The two men looked through the gap and saw the girl's face. Try to stop people from burying you, because he knew she was not Zhang's wife. People were threatened, so they did not disobey Zhang. Buried for the ocean. He and his crew left. He even came back to make fun of the two families. He was so angry that he insulted his brothers. One evening he organized a celebration. Everyone congratulated him very much. Even Governor Honda came. Saw him. The old man threw everyone inside. The governor asked him, "Have there been any special imports recently?" He also explained, "It's the most important thing for the Emperor of Japan." As if Mr. Zhang understood what he meant. Invite him to the basement. There are a lot of girls inside. The governor laughed at it. After the trip, Tong Hui was seriously ill. He opened the bag she had brought with her. The chicken's head was smashed. He went up to the public bridge. The officer's picture also suddenly fell down. Juniors of two families. After receiving a lot of money from the funeral, the coffin, we went to Li 3's house to celebrate. His sister brought food for everyone. The prince noticed her. But reason 3, let him keep an eye on his brother. Suddenly everyone takes turns getting itchy around the neck area and their necks are covered in red around them. Reason 3 tells people to drink to forget the itch. Zhang, the old man, was joking with his two concubines. Next to the melodious music, the lady in the room is admiring the necklace. It turns out that this ring she stole from Ziyang. She's having fun, and she's got a lot of itchiness on her neck. It made her unbearable. She puts her hand up and grabs her own neck. After getting drunk, they broke up. Who's the way? Suddenly, they saw that they were walking unsteadily, constantly screaming. They think he's drunk and laughing at him. After a while, I saw that he had a strange expression. He turned his eyes and nose were bleeding. He called everyone to save him. His neck burned to charcoal. He fell on Li 3. It made him scream. Midnight Trong to goes to the toilet. He was peeing when the lights went out. I looked through the door and saw nothing. When I looked back, I saw a pair of eyes looking at me. I can't see my head down. He ran outside, turned on the light, saw nothing. Hands down, the lights go out. He saw a shadow and didn't see it either. A woman in a red shirt stood in front of him. Uncle Zhang woke up. I walked out and saw the door move. He stepped closer to look. Suddenly a ball fell in front of him. Calm down, he went to open the door. The lady in the room ran out, and her neck is on fire. She ran into the king and fell in front of him. Panicked, he shouted. Two families went to the nurse's house to see his dead body. He died without closing his eyes. He closed his eyes still. There was a black burn on his neck. He looked at everyone with him. She also has a red rash. He came back and told him to leave. Then he threw him back. He closed his face. At this time Zhang Tu also ran. Please come to old Master Zhang's house. He also saw a lot of red on his neck. Go to Zhang's house to see the old lady. She also died of a burn on her neck. He closed his eyes. Master Zhang was too scared. Please come to him and help him. He knows the two are angry with him. Buried the coffin last time. He punched himself in the face to punish himself. He was angry and gave him a fight. Everyone stops you. Two families immediately led Theo Trong Ba Tiger to the mountain. Turns out, you wanted to see that girl's grave. You know the girl is missing something. Death does not close its eyes. They go to the night. I found out. I was in the cemetery. The tiger said you should go back, but he kept moving forward. Through a spooky beach with a lot of weird offerings. Suddenly a head on the statue fell, made him panic. He looked at the bushes. I saw movement and a shadow appeared. The tiger panicked and ran away. Turns out you've been there before. I asked the two families to help me with the coffin. When you see him coming, tell him, you and Ziyang are sisters. Twin. They were given a mission by the chief to protect them. The map is hidden in a necklace. And bring it back to the organization. The sound of the two sisters leaving. The Japanese came to arrest the chief. He killed himself. Two cousins, because I want to take the map to Sun Coke Town. I think in every way, but it can't be done. He eventually fell into Zhang's trap to protect the treasure that Ziyang sacrificed. And Little Vi faked the ghost, faked the devil to scare people, to reclaim the national treasure, but still not found. So they asked the families for help. You date them, I'll come back to them in 7 days. And go home. You with your family. Zhang asked to excavate Ziyang's coffin and told everyone to bring water to wash the casket. Then he built a tent and put the girl's body in it. Let Wheat perform the ritual bath for you. Before entering office, Wheat using clean water. Shower clean, give her from head to toe. He sat smoking and waiting. I can't help but remember the old story. His mother gave birth in a coffin. When you were born, then she died too. When he grew up, he became a coffin carrier to give tongue to the dead. Once he prepared everything, it's like receiving the news of the person born in the coffin. Unfortunately, he was rejected. This job makes you 7. One day, the Japanese attacked the village. They killed a lot of innocent people. Blood turned into a river. You go there alone to carry the bodies of the dead villagers, burying unfinished work. Suddenly, he heard a sound coming closer to watch. I saw a baby coming out of the belly of a dead mother. The baby is very resilient. He brought it home and called it Wheat. The wheat grew every day in front of him. She's carefree and innocent. Suddenly Wheat came running to cut off his thoughts. She told him everything was done, and he came in. The girl still doesn't close her eyes. He looked for a long time and pressed hard on the girl's stomach. Out of her mouth came a jewel. He hurriedly picked up the jewel, and the girl is now safely gone. He looked at the jewel and pretended to be ill. Tell everyone to bring it to Zhang's house, where he said the girl still lost her stuff, so I didn't leave. It's as if someone's telling you something. He walked around and suddenly passed out. The wound on his wife's neck is still there. Ask the two of you to help them. The people of Li 3 are drinking happily. They laughed and talked. Then I remembered that two people had asked him for help. So he hurried away. The others rushed after him. The next day, the two performed the ritual to take Ziyang to be buried. The two families created a straw man to put in the coffin. Then he walked in, tell people to return the treasure to the dead. They all said they didn't take it. The two families said they couldn't save them if they didn't pay. The 3 ladies took the necklace out of her pocket. Give it to two families. Hold the rope in your hand. He told everyone to turn around. Then he opened Ziyang's coffin. Put the rope and the jewel next to you. Fasten everything to the coffin. There is still a shortage of people carrying coffins. Just in time for you to arrive. Mr. Zhang was arrested. Apply blackface like burning wood and in mouth. Everyone changes clothes and drinks a cup of wine before leaving. Tang's delegation set out under the guidance of the two families. Go to a deserted river. Two families told them to stop and let Raw Duck go free. Flying jump. He poured urine on his head to relieve bad luck. Release the fish to the river to reduce karma. It was thanks to Mr. Zhang that they were successful. Through the Japanese control gate. Go to the intersection. 2 heirlooms Wheat. Let's take Ziyang's coffin straight ahead. And don't turn your head. He and his crew carried the coffin. The straw man went into the cave. Go deep inside the cave, where they put the coffin down. Fasten the rope. The coffin is pulled up. They lit firecrackers to finish the burial. At this point, Zhang revealed his intentions. He wanted to steal the property and his wife. That conspired to use Li's sister as bait. Hire Wang Zi using Japanese poison to put on people's necks. It caused the death of the priest. He also slipped drugs into the rope after the old lady stole it from Ziyang. And everything that happens is orchestrated by him. At this time, he applied the medicine to Zhang's body. Zhang said he was angry and attacked him. Immediately he threw him to the ground and threw the temple in his face. It set his head on fire. It's shooting at people with guns. He fell into the river and died. In the joy of Zhang too, he ordered his servants to kill the brothers. There was suspicion of him before, so the two families prepared the drugs. He was standing and suddenly fell to the ground. Everyone huts Zhang and Wang Zi at the tree and carry the dead bodies right into place. And then they left. Let fate arrange before you go. They were told by the king that wheat was in danger. Everyone rushed to find her. Juniors, they decided to go to war with the Japanese. The tiger with the wheat carried the coffin. Then the Japanese soldiers followed him. He gave wheat and a coffin to go first. You'll distract them. He ran into the overgrown grass without stopping, screaming for them to chase you. The soldiers rushed to shoot him in the leg. Fall to the ground when they're about to get to you. Then the Kyoto families sing the song "Ca Send Off." The dead echoed through the mountains, makes him believe the coffin's there. He told the soldiers to come back and attack them. They attacked and defeated many Japanese soldiers and devised tricks to distract them. But civilians can fight back as Sao soldiers. They shot and threw themselves, and they hurt people very badly. Now wheat and a coffin had taken her up the mountain. When she heard the explosion, she turned her head. It reminds you of what your father told you not to. She turned her head and wiped her tears and continued on her way. The Japanese continued to chase him. The coffin. Although the same power, it was exhausting because everyone was seriously injured. But they're still worried the soldiers might catch up. Wheat. He told everyone to take him up to keep the Japanese at bay. Then he left, causing everyone great pain. People do it according to your will. They tied up the trees as supports and lifted him up from the grass. Use a stick on your back so you don't fall. They sing the song of Tong. Now wheat is trying to go fast. The Japanese soldiers heard the song and ran to find it. They saw you sitting there, and they kept dropping their guns on you. 3 people were injured and couldn't stand, but they tried to stand up. The Japanese killed forever, and they didn't die. I was afraid to run away and not come back. 2 families and brothers. They became heroes of the country. I couldn't find the coffin. Japanese bugs returned to Zhangjia's but I can't see Zhang Bao and Zhang Tu. He let people catch women. They killed people and stole all their gold and silver. Midnight in the forest. A bunch of people are talking about the coffin. It caused the tragic death of the Zhang family. Suddenly they saw 2 people carrying the coffin. They panicked and ran away. She waited for the 2 to arrive as promised. But I haven't seen you in too long. People think maybe he didn't keep his promise. Just wanted to leave. Then they saw wheat and a coffin brought the coffin. She told them her father and his brothers. To protect the coffin, he sacrificed himself without pity. They bowed their heads in gratitude for the great sacrifice. It reminds me of happy moments. Have fun with your father and uncles, and you can't see them anymore. In Zhang Cave too, and the prince escaped, but the king betrayed him. He tried to kill the princess, but he did evil. Then you can live in peace. That's why he was punished by God. Death is not life. The movie is coming to an end. Have a nice movie. Hi and see you later.